Could the very foundation of the Atlanta Hawks franchise, built for 7 years around the dazzling, often polarizing talent of Trae Young, be on the verge of a seismic shift that sends shockwaves across the entire NBA? Are we truly witnessing the prelude to one of the most anticipated free agency sagas in recent memory? A superstar potentially trading the red and black of Atlanta for the iconic purple and gold of Los Angeles or the storied red of Chicago? The whispers have grown into a roar, and a new report suggests that the door for Trae Young to take his electrifying game to the Lakers or the Bulls next summer is not just open but swinging wide. This is your Hoops Hysteria Hub, and today, we're diving deep into the swirling vortex of NBA speculation where the future of a bona fide offensive marvel hangs in the balance. For years, Trae Young has been the heartbeat of the Atlanta Hawks, a dazzling playmaker and audacious scorer who can single-handedly ignite an arena. But as ESPN NBA insider Tim MacMahon recently reported on the Hoop Collective, the long-term outlook for Trae Young in Atlanta is murky at the minimum at this point. This isn't just idle chatter. It's a stark acknowledgement of the growing uncertainty surrounding a player who has averaged an astounding 25 points and 10 assists over his career, a player whose offensive production has been nothing short of elite. Yet, despite his individual brilliance, questions persist, and a potential parting of ways with the Hawks is no longer a distant possibility, but a looming reality that could redefine the landscape of two major markets. Let's unpack MacMahon's statement, because it cuts to the core of the dilemma facing both Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. For 7 seasons, Young has been the undisputed face of the franchise. He arrived in Atlanta with immense hype, a dazzling offensive package, and the weight of being the future of the organization. He delivered on the offensive end, consistently putting up numbers that place him among the league's elite guards. He led the Hawks to an improbable Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 2021, a run that showcased his clutch gene and ability to elevate his team in high-pressure moments. He's a player who led the league in assists, a maestro with the ball in his hands, capable of threading passes through the tightest windows and pulling up from anywhere on the court. His offensive arsenal is diverse, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. However, as MacMahon points out, there are question marks about whether this is going to, be a long-term marriage. The core issue seems to revolve around the Hawks' ability to build a consistent contender around Young, and the financial commitment required for a maximum salaried player who, despite his offensive genius, has notable defensive deficiencies and has only had one deep playoff run. The NBA is a league of results, and while Young's individual statistics are undeniable, the team's overall success has been inconsistent. This creates a challenging dynamic for a front office trying to optimize its roster and cap sheet. Committing a maximum contract to a player of Young's profile requires absolute conviction that he is the cornerstone of a championship-caliber team, and it appears the Hawks might be taking a cautious approach to that commitment. The contractual situation further fuels this speculation. Trae Young is currently in the middle of a 5-year, $215 million extension he signed in 2022. He has 2 years remaining on that deal. But here's the crucial detail. The final year, the 2026-27 season, is a player option. This means that next summer in 2026, Young will have the power to opt out of his contract and become an unrestricted free agent. If he chooses to do so, he would arguably be the top free agent available on the market, a truly rare commodity. An elite offensive talent in his prime, ready to choose his next destination. This player option is the key that unlocks the door to a potential departure, giving Young the leverage to seek a new challenge and a new environment if the situation in Atlanta doesn't align with his championship aspirations. So, let's talk about those question marks that might lead to such a monumental decision. While Young's offensive prowess is universally acknowledged, his defensive game has been a consistent area of concern throughout his career. He's often targeted by opposing offenses, and his slight frame can make it difficult for him to guard bigger, stronger guards. In the high-stakes environment of the NBA playoffs, defensive liabilities can be exploited, and this has contributed to some of the Hawks' struggles in the postseason. Furthermore, beyond that magical 2021 run, The Hawks have not achieved consistent playoff success, leading to questions about whether Young's style of play, while incredibly entertaining and productive, translates effectively to deep championship contention without a perfectly constructed roster around him. These are the legitimate criticisms that teams, including potentially the Hawks themselves, must weigh against his undeniable offensive gifts. But let's be clear, despite these concerns, Trey Young is an elite offensive talent. His career averages of over 25 points and nearly 10 assists per game speak for themselves. He's a dynamic scorer, a visionary passer, and a constant threat from anywhere on the court. He draws fouls, creates opportunities for his teammates, and can take over games with his scoring outbursts. In today's NBA, where offensive firepower is king, a player of Young's caliber will always have a multitude of suitors. If he opts out of his deal next summer, teams with cap space and a need for a primary ball handler and scorer will undoubtedly be lining up for his services. And two teams in particular are now emerging as the front runners, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. Let's first turn our gaze to the bright lights of Hollywood, to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers have been linked to a potential Trae Young trade in recent years, a testament to their perennial pursuit of star power and their need for a dynamic guard to complement their existing superstars. While the rumors seemed to die down after the Hawks traded DeJounte Murray before last season, a move that many interpreted as Atlanta choosing to commit to Young, the new report reignites the possibility. The Lakers, with LeBron James entering the twilight of his illustrious career and Anthony Davis still in his prime, are always looking for that next piece, that orchestrator who can elevate their offense and take some of the playmaking burden off James. Imagine Trae Young running the pick and roll with Anthony Davis or spotting up for a three-pointer off a LeBron James pass. The synergy could be electrifying. The Lakers have consistently sought elite ball handlers and scoring guards to play alongside their dominant frontcourt. They understand the value of having a guard who can create his own shot, facilitate for others, and stretch the floor. Young's ability to operate in isolation, run the offense, and hit clutch shots would be a perfect fit for a team that often relies on individual brilliance. Furthermore, various signs point to the Lakers having a significant amount of cap space available in the summer of 2026. This financial flexibility, combined with the allure of playing in one of the NBA's biggest markets and competing for championships, makes Los Angeles an incredibly compelling destination for a player like Young looking for a fresh start and a clear path to contention. A move to the Lakers would be a narrative made for Hollywood, a superstar joining another iconic franchise in pursuit of glory. Now, let's pivot to the Windy City, where the Chicago Bulls are also expected to have a substantial amount of cap space in the summer of 2026. The Bulls are a franchise in transition, having moved on from key offensive pieces like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan over the last year. While they are likely to re-sign guard Josh Giddey this year, they still have a glaring need for an elite, go-to scorer, a player who can consistently create his own shot and carry the offensive load. Trae Young would not only fill that void, but would immediately become the undisputed offensive focal point of the team. The Bulls have been searching for a true superstar to build around, a player who can put butts in seats and ignite a passionate fan base. Young's offensive fireworks would certainly do that. Furthermore, the prospect of Young signing with Chicago would not only bolster the Bulls, but also hurt a division rival. A strategic move that adds an extra layer of intrigue to this potential free agency chase. The Bulls, like the Lakers, offer a large market, a storied franchise, and a clear opportunity for Young to be the unquestioned leader of a team looking to climb back into contention. The chance to lead a rebuilding effort, to be the face of a new era in Chicago, could be incredibly appealing for a player seeking to define his legacy. The stakes here are incredibly high, not just for Trae Young, but for the entire league. A superstar of his caliber becoming a free agent in his prime is a rare event, and his decision will undoubtedly reshape the competitive balance of the NBA. For the Hawks, it represents a critical juncture. Do they try to mend the relationship and convince him to stay, or do they embrace a full rebuild around other assets? For the Lakers and Bulls, It's a chance to accelerate their timelines to acquire a game-changing talent who could immediately elevate them into the playoff picture and beyond. The drama, the intrigue, the endless possibilities. This is what makes the NBA offseason so captivating, and the Trae Young saga is shaping up to be one of its most compelling narratives. In essence, the future of Trae Young in Atlanta feels increasingly precarious, with ESPN's Tim MacMahon's report adding significant weight to the growing speculation. Despite his undeniable offensive brilliance and status as the face of the Hawks for 7 years, questions surrounding his long-term fit as a max-salaried cornerstone for a contender, coupled with his looming player option in 2026, paint a clear picture of potential change. The Los Angeles Lakers and Chicago Bulls, both projected to have substantial cap space and a clear need for an elite offensive guard, are emerging as the most likely destinations for Young should he opt for free agency. This isn't just a player changing teams, it's a potential superstar move that could dramatically alter the competitive landscape of the NBA, offering the Lakers another dynamic piece for their championship chase or providing the Bulls with the offensive engine they desperately need to return to prominence. What's your gut feeling on this seismic shift? Do you believe Trae Young is destined for the bright lights of Los Angeles? Or could he be the one to ignite a new era in Chicago? Or perhaps, against all odds, do you see a path for him to remain in Atlanta? Drop your predictions, your analyses, and your wildest free agency scenarios in the comments below. Let's get this conversation buzzing and dissect every angle of what could be the biggest move of the 2026 offseason. And if you're as gripped by the drama of NBA player movement as we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the breaking news and expert insights that keep you on the pulse of the game.